Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers, and I'm looking this morning at a book from Lexis, Nexis, Butterworth's. It's Fisher and Lightwood's Law of Mortgage, now in its 13th edition. It's been published by Lexis, Nexis, Butterworth's in collaboration with a team from Falcon Chambers led by Sir Paul Morgan and others. This is the book itself, about 1200 pages, quite heavy. There's the side cover. And you'll see here the list of people involved. Then you've got the standard stuff, the contents, cases, statutes and so forth, a lot of them. You've got some useful paragraphing at the sides, again, to find what you're after, and footnotes at the bottom. So it fills very much the format of Lexis Nexis. At the back you've got quite a large amount of information, a very detailed index. I like this book. I think it's a useful book for us in the 21st century. There's a flicker review that we've written. Let me explain why I think the book's quite good and why it's useful for people like me, because it deals with things like the work I do, which is possession actions. We've given it the title, A Classic Yet Contemporary and Authoritative Work on Modern Mortgage Law, and we have to look at the history a little bit to understand what's been going on, because this is the 13th edition of Fisher and Lightwood. It's an inspired and erudite result of the combined efforts of 8 learned contributors from Falcon Chambers under the coordinating editorship of Wayne Clark. The first edition of Fisher and Lightwood was published in 1856, and we can only assume was a masterpiece of research and systemization, because the original author, William Fisher, from all accounts, had a gift of imposing order on chaos, compiling and organising what was then an amorphous mass of information, and he structured it logically into what was acknowledged then and now as an authoritative and easy-to-use work of reference for all practitioners involved in any aspect of mortgages. And that's what we have here, and that's really why I like it, because like many other classic works of similar vintage, Fisher and Lightwood has updated, like wood actually, has been updated over the years, remaining perennially fresh and topical. This, therefore, the latest edition, reveals a number of new developments which have come about. The chapter on charging orders has been expanded. The chapter on consumer credit has been completely revised following the Consumer Credit Act 26, and the chapters on mortgagees' remedies have been largely restructured, which is very helpful. The many new cases that have transpired since the last edition have all been included, as the subject matter remains high on both the legal and the political agendas. So though it's thoroughly contemporary, the work remains true to the ethos of the original edition from the extraordinary William Fisher, whose short biography, in fact, is at the beginning of the book, which is actually quite nice. I rather like the approach that you have, where you actually hear a little bit about the person who's actually written this book in the first place. And there we go, there's a little bit of detail on the biography, because it's quite important in this day and age to get an idea of who they are. What I would say is that if you're a practitioner, therefore, involved in any aspect of mortgage law, here in one volume, without loose leaves, is a researched book, well-researched book, which is thoroughly insightful and very, very helpful, and it will of course add a great deal of authority and value to your advocacy. And by the way, if you're additionally involved in any issues concerning the conversation of land and property, such as forests for an example, you might be interested to know that Fisher was a key figure in preserving 6,000 acres of Epping forest for the nation. He was also involved in a series of legal actions and arbitrations in the 1860s and 70s, carried out by a united front of villagers, commoners and preservationists in the City of London, fighting off certain landowners. So you see that he's had a fairly substantial history himself. As would therefore be expected, the usual research and reference tools are here in this 1200-page book. It's got 56 chapters, including an extensive table of statutes, cases and so on. So I think I can say that this is actually a classic for its authority and contemporaneity, and we thank both Fisher and Lightwood for starting it off in the first place. Thank you very much. Bye bye.